This is John Gray with the Raising the Jedi series, episode 6, Sebek, the God Dog, or the Dog God. Now, as we've seen in the previous episodes, episode 5 and episode 4, I did a little demonstration of how the language is used, the English language in particular, is used to convey various ideas, whether they're conflicting or whether they have underlying messages that the regular layman would not be able to understand or comprehend. Okay, so here we have that same phenomenon, and today's episode is about the one or the principle that would allow such a thing to happen, and that is this principle right here, Sebek, also known as Apuat or Anpu. So he is the first polarization of man's consciousness when rising up the central pillar of our spiritual anatomy. He's the first polarization that goes towards the left, and that is the masculine. We see that symbolized by the plus sign, or the positive electric charge. He is the representative of the masculine aspect of our first level of intelligence, or the logical intellect. Okay, so we can take a look at, let's see, this first law, or the principle or angel known as Sebek, who is the god of externalized thought. He excels in descriptions, he excels in language, investigations, in inspections, scrutiny, and practically everything that is about legality. Okay, so we're going to expose all of this and show exactly who this character is as it manifests in the human psyche, as it manifests in all of nature. And of course we see that our Kemetic ancestors knew how to represent these symbols in accordance to how they reveal themselves out of nature. And in this case, this is the jackal, or if we're humorous like this archetype, we would say something like he's the jackal of all trades. Okay, so that's a play on that jack of all trades idea. So we're going to move forward and find out who this archetype is throughout history, and we're going to find out who it is represented in our Abrahamic religions. Also is found in mythological circles. So let's take a look. We see right here in the tradition of the Greeks, and in their description of the ancient Egyptian gods, they describe Tahuti as Thoth. Now, when we listen to the word Thoth and we look at how they describe or how they utilize Thoth in their cosmogony, we would see that Thoth actually corresponds with thought. Now, on the tree, we can look at the macro tree here. On the tree, thought is way down here. It's in the pelvic regions of the tree of life, the spiritual anatomy of the tree of life. But thought does not reside up here where Tahuti resides. This is actually in the realm of no thoughts. Okay, so in that case, we actually realize that Thoth is represented here in the sphere 8 of the tree of life. We also have Mercury, or Mercury, who is the Roman god, also known as Hermes in Greek, and in the Greek lore, of course. And then we have in the Abrahamic traditions, that's the Judeo-Christian. We have also even mentioned in the Quran, we have the angel Gabriel showing up. So let's take a look at, I'm going to see if I can read some of these off on my computer about Gabriel, and where did we actually see this if we were to open up the Bible. So let's take a look in the New Testament. Let's see if I can scroll here. It looks like it's not giving it to me here. Alright, Old Testament. Let's try that. We will find Gabriel in Daniel 8, chapter 16 through the 26th verse. He is the one who looked like a man in Daniel 8:15. Okay, and in the New Testament, concerning John the Baptist, an angel appeared to his father Zacharias, a priest of the course of Abia. Okay, so that's Luke 1st chapter 5 through 7 verses, whose barren wife Elizabeth was of the daughters of Aaron while he ministered in the temple. Of course, that's what they're showing here on Wikipedia. And so when we see this we know that Gabriel, we see that Mercury, Hermes, and even the Greek Thoth correspond to this entity, which is the precursor to all of them. Okay, so let's take another look. Let's take another look on how this particular archon or archetype manifests itself in the human body. Okay, so we can start here at the earth level, and we know that Sebek corresponds to the nervous system. Okay, and the central nervous system is comprised of the cerebrum, the midbrain, and the reptilian brain, with its peripheral nerves extending into the rest of the body. In particular, are the lungs and the heart or diaphragm. Okay, because when we look at what the diaphragm enables us to do, it enables us to, when we do meditative processes, it enables us to still the heart. Okay, but when we look at the glyph and how it's drawn here, we can see that it's actually describing these particular organs in this region of the body. And so we know that with the nerves, we can actually control our thoughts through the proper use of our diaphragm. We can actually still our thoughts, or we can actually speed up our thoughts. There are certain meditative processes that allow us to think clearly. So there's some breathing processes there if we have the science down to do it. Okay, and we actually have that, by the way. So that's just a little something to kind of give you an example of what's going on with Sebek at the very base of the tree in the physicality. Okay.